For as long as cars have existed, one truth seemed unshakable. Engines wear out. No matter how much we maintain them, every piston stroke, every spark, every mile adds to the inevitable decay. Oil loses its edge, metal grinds against metal, and slowly, the heart of a machine begins to fail. For most drivers, this decline is irreversible. Once an engine grows old, its fate is sealed. But what if that wasn't true? What if, hidden in plain sight, there was a mysterious liquid, poured not by car manufacturers, but by ordinary drivers, that could revive an aging engine? What if, against everything engineers believed possible, this substance gave new life to a machine long past its prime? Tonight, we unravel the story of an unassuming additive, dismissed by many, trusted by few, and whispered about as if it were a miracle. A secret so startling, it could make an old, tired engine feel brand new. Engines are marvels of engineering. At their core, they are nothing more than a symphony of explosions, heat, and motion, harnessed by human ingenuity. But like all things in motion, they degrade. Heat warps metals. Tiny particles scar cylinder walls. Valves carbonize. Oil, once golden and slick, turns dark and thick, losing the fight against friction. Each mile adds invisible scars until one day the effects become visible. Loss of power, strange knocking noises, blue smoke curling from the exhaust, and the dreaded drop in fuel efficiency. For mechanics, this is routine. Engines are designed to fail eventually. You maintain them, you replace worn-out parts, and when it's no longer cost-effective, you replace the car itself. That's the accepted cycle. But the story takes a darker turn when one considers the stakes. For some drivers, especially those who rely on aging trucks, taxis, or farm vehicles, an engine's decline isn't just an inconvenience, it's financial ruin. And that is where whispers of a so-called miracle began to spread. It wasn't flashy. No golden label, no bold advertising campaign. Just a small bottle, sitting on dusty shelves in auto shops, overlooked by most. To some, it looked like a gimmick, another in the long line of snake oil promises that had plagued the industry for decades. But those who tried it noticed something strange. After pouring it in and running the engine, something began to change. The rattling softened. Acceleration grew sharper. Exhaust cleared. What seemed impossible, an old engine regaining vitality, was suddenly happening before their very eyes. At first, the claims were ignored, then ridiculed. "Impossible," said the skeptics. "Engines don't heal themselves." And yet, the testimonials mounted. So, what exactly was inside this mysterious additive? To the casual observer, it was just a thick liquid, blended with oil. But beneath the surface, it was a cocktail of advanced compounds, engineered at the microscopic level to interact with metal itself. When introduced to a hot running engine, the additive formed a molecular coating. Instead of oil simply reducing friction, this shield bonded directly to the worn surfaces, smoothing out scratches and filling tiny grooves invisible to the naked eye. In essence, the engine's scars were being patched, its friction reduced, and its efficiency restored. It was less a lubricant, and more a form of liquid armor. Compression improved. Fuel burned cleaner. And the old metallic groans of a weary engine gave way to a smoother, steadier hum. For some drivers, it was like watching a car roll back the years. Word spread fast. Drivers reported engines with over 200,000 miles suddenly running like they had 50,000 fewer. Long-haul truckers swore their rigs, once destined for the scrapyard, pulled heavy loads with surprising ease. A farmer in the Midwest claimed his old tractor, its engine coughing and choking, revived after a single treatment. Taxi drivers in Europe boasted of vehicles running thousands of extra miles with far fewer breakdowns. One story told of a man whose beloved vintage car sat nearly abandoned, its engine too weak to trust. After the additive, it not only ran, but won a local race. To believers, it was nothing short of resurrection. To skeptics, it was anecdotal nonsense. But both sides agreed on one thing. Something unusual was happening. For every miracle claim, there was an equal pushback. Engineers argued no liquid could reverse mechanical wear. At best, they said, It masked problems temporarily. At worst, it was a placebo effect, exaggerated by desperate drivers wanting to believe. Big oil companies and manufacturers were quietly dismissive too. After all, if engines could be cheaply revived with a simple additive, what would that mean for the billion-dollar industries built on selling new cars, spare parts, and constant oil changes? But the debate only fueled the legend. The more it was dismissed, the more determined drivers became to test it for themselves. And every successful story spread like wildfire in car forums, garages, and word-of-mouth tales. Eventually, a nickname took hold. People began calling it liquid resurrection, a substance that didn't just extend an engine's life, it seemed to resurrect it. Some treated it as a trade secret, reluctant to reveal the brand to others, fearful that increased demand might drive up the price. The legends grew bolder. Stories of engines running smoother after decades of abuse, of failing fleets of taxis kept alive long enough to save companies from bankruptcy, of cars once considered hopeless, given a second chance. And whether you believed in the science or not, the narrative was irresistible. A simple bottle that could defy time. Engines aren't supposed to heal. They aren't supposed to reverse age. The laws of mechanics say once a part is worn, it stays worn. Once efficiency is lost, it never returns. And yet, this additive challenged all of that. Was it science? Was it chemistry? Or was it clever marketing feeding on our desire to believe in miracles? Perhaps it was all three, but one truth remains undeniable. For those who tried it, and for those who witnessed it, the experience was unforgettable. An old engine, counted out and nearly dead, suddenly roared back to life. This isn't just about cars. It's about the human need to fight time itself, to search for hidden secrets that bend the rules of decay. And sometimes, against all odds, those secrets aren't buried in science fiction. They're waiting quietly on a shelf, in a small, unassuming bottle.